and thank you for joining me. My name is Mark Figueroa with Summit Alliance Advantage, and the product that we're going to go over today is through the Pioneer American Insurance Company. It is known by a couple of other names, and up in front of you, we'll be going over the following. We've got, why do business with them, product specs, and some underwriting tips, as well as several other pieces of information that'll help you out. So again, like I was saying, it is they do go by several different names. Just depends on the state that you're in. You got Occidental. You'll hear Pioneer, Pioneer American, American Amicable. So those are a couple of the company names, but they've been around for a long time. It's over 100 years. Over 100 years now. Founded in 1910 in Waco. Excellent rating for the AM Best rating. They've been in the final expense business for about 10 years now. A little bit longer, but the employees there have been there for really about 17 to 20 years, so they know their stuff. And just on a side note, I've called them many times, and they're easy to get a hold of. They're great folks to work for, or work with, rather. So with the Pioneer American products, the easiest thing about them is just how easy they are. So no exam, no blood work, no home office specimen, so no urinalysis, things like that. It's a one-page application and a telephone interview. It's really set up for the ease of point of sale. So you really don't have to worry about going back. Now, the one piece of information that I will say is to make sure that you try to do the phone calls while you're there instead of setting up a phone interview. The MIB and pharmacy check are done right over the phone while you're there. There's plenty of field underwriting tools available to you, and point of sale decisions available, like I was saying. Usually it's a 3 business day turnaround time as well in the new applications. So if you're not contracted with them, you can submit your application with your contract to get appointed. Sometimes that does speed that up, but you're really going to be looking at about 3 days on both your contract and the application. There are a couple of great benefits on this, and it's easy to customize. You've got the grandchildren rider. There's a nursing home waiver of premium, and the terminal illness and combined care are at no cost. You can provide quotes using some software. This is pretty new, actually. I was messing around with it a little bit here the last couple of days. There's a mobile application, Phone Quoter. You can upload the scanned app or the scanned documents directly to the department for processing, which is absolutely fantastic. It's really easy to use. Again, the home office. They have great customer service. The e-file, the agent website is really easy to use. You can just take 2 or 3 clicks to get to all your product information that you need for your state. You have direct access to the underwriters. You do get email notifications a lot. Whenever anything's going through or having issues, and you can even call them and they'll pull it right up for you. It's really easy to deal with them. The E&O coverage is not required, even though it's a good idea to have it. They actually have, they actually also have the AML training right on their website, so you can get to that as well. They do have some sales conventions, and of course your advanced commissions. You can get paid daily. That's always nice. Now the product, exactly what we're going to talk about, is called American Legacy. The American Legacy is for ages 50 to 85. And then there's 3 different versions of it, and there's some questions that we'll go over. But the 3 versions are going to be the graded death benefit, and of course, just like it says there, pays 30% of the death benefit if it occurs in the first year, 70% in the second, 100% in the third. And then the maximum coverage is $20,000. The return of premium is if they're less than 65. Pays return of the premium plus 10%, annual interest if it occurs within the first 3 years, and then after 3 years it's 100%. It's set up very similarly to other products out there. And then the immediate death benefit, of course, 100%. Maximum coverage is $35,000, and then for 50 to 75, and 20,000 for 76 to 85. And then if they're over a 65, it's going to be the return of premium plus 10%. If the death occurs within the first 2 years, and then the maximum coverage on that is 20,000. If it is accidental, it's 100% of the face amount. So really quick on the determining eligibility, a couple of the questions, just 3 questions to determine if they can get any kind of coverage, and that's currently hospitalized due to chronic illness. A couple of questions there, just a simple yes or no. Then you move on to the next one if they're all no. And then, of course, more questions here. A little bit more here. There's a couple of parts to number 7. And again, this is where the field underwriting guide will come in handy. So definitely make sure that you have that available to you, or be really familiar with the product. I've not met anybody yet that knew every single thing on it. So always keep that handy. But basically, really the most complicated one is number 7. Just in the past 12 months, angina, stroke, TIA, which is also known as a mini stroke. So make sure that you're looking that up. There's 2 versions of a mini stroke. So the usual suspects there. And then, of course, this is the last one for the graded death benefit. So yes or no questions there. If all of them are no, then you can go with the immediate death benefit. So pretty easy to do that. And then if they're willing to accept any plan, they're gonna select the box there. But just make sure that you're going over all of the options. In these states, we've got Connecticut with no return of premium, Delaware, Iowa, so on and so forth. There's no return of premium. And then Vermont and Wisconsin available with Occidental Life. So if you've got multiple licenses in multiple states, you may want to ask your upline and make sure that you're getting contracted with the right states. And the riders that I was speaking about briefly, the grandchildren rider, and it does also cover great-grandchildren, $5,000 per unit, up to age 20, available in 1 or 2 units. It is convertible for up to $25,000, $12 per grandchild per year per unit selected. And then, of course, if in the event of the death of the primary insured is the coverage under the rider will be paid up. So once the grandparent passes, then they're paid up. And then the nursing home waiver of premium. I love this one. So let me go back. I love the nursing home waiver of premium. I think this is a really nice add-on. If they become confined to a nursing home for 90 consecutive days, then it waives the payment of the policy premiums. So that's just kind of a nice added benefit that kind of puts your client at ease. And then, of course, that's the same duration as the base policy. And the caveat, it's only available on the immediate death benefit. So again, the no-cost riders, the terminal illness accelerated benefit rider, they can get 100% of it if they have a life expectancy of 12 months or less. And then the accelerated benefit rider, which is the confined care, if they're full-time permanent resident in the nursing home, they can also get the fixed monthly payment amount. Not available in the states down there. And again, this will be available to you recorded, or if you want the PowerPoint itself, you can get that as well, so you can go over it again. And the sales materials, again, there's a lot of great pieces of information in your back office. The quoting sheets, anything you can think of is there. Even some sales materials for prospecting, and for Spanish agents as well. There's a lot of Spanish translation materials available. There's an 8 Reasons in Spanish. The grandchildren rider, there's a Spanish version of it. And I'll show you how to get into it. But you've got to make sure that you're set up in your state to get it. They have to actually enable you in the back office to have access to those things. Some states don't have access to it. You kind of have to look around for them, but I'll show you that. And again, with the underwriting processes, no medical exam or blood work required. It's just the application, the MIB, and the database check for the pharmacy, and then the telephone interview sale. So again, the point of sale option, I can't stress that enough, is the best way to make sure that you're getting everything done as quickly and efficiently as possible. The number one thing that we hear is, I haven't, I don't know where it's at. It hasn't gone through. They said they called. You got to make sure, that you're getting that done if you can while you're there with your client, because we've all heard that story. Well, they tried calling them. They can't get a hold of them. They said they call them. They don't call them. They forget. They forgot they had a doctor's appointment. Grandkids came over, whatever the case is. So try to make sure that you get that phone call while you're there. Very important. And then make sure you're also looking at that build chart. So some of the tools available to you. There's a great medication listing. It's really easy to use. It has the plan recommendation right there. So you don't have to, it kind of takes the guesswork out of everything. It's really easy to use. Congestive heart failure, for example, question on the app, it tells you right away, return of premium. That's the impairment guide there. So it's really easy to use. Now in the chart, the height weight chart, this is what it's going to look like. And again, having this on you, having this handy, will definitely help you out, speed up the process. It's pretty conservative, or rather pretty liberal, I would say. 5'5", 264 for the immediate. That's not bad. And even with the return of premium, 277 to 288. That's actually pretty good. So definitely, I've seen some carriers that had it a little bit worse. All right, so the telephone interviews, again, the preferred method is the point of sale, doing it with your client while you're there, and it's completed at the time of the application in the client's home. The interviews are recorded, and you just call the vendor using a toll-free number. There is also a vendor specifically for Spanish folks. Again, they've got some materials in Spanish. You got the phone call that you can do in Spanish. So it is geared towards that market as well, and there's not many companies that are doing that. Really easy, you just identify yourself, what they're being applied for, so you'd say American Legacy, and then they do the rest of it on their own. And then on the application, you're going to put that the interview has been completed. And then everything is transmitted to the home office. They put 2 and 2 together, and they get everything processed as fast as possible. So now this is what your back office looks like when you first log in. On the left-hand side, there's some information, but this is the bulk right here. You just simply click Order Supply. It takes you to that page like that. You select your state and then the product. Really easy. If you just select your state and no product and hit continue, it'll give you a list of everything available for that state. So it'll just go down the line, but really easy to use. It's just click and click. So here is just, this is just for Texas here. It's got the application packet. It's got all the brochures, and if you can see about halfway down the page and up towards the top, anything with an S on the end of the number. So you've got the American Legacy Grandchild Rider in Spanish. You've got the pre-arrangement instructions in Spanish. The confined care brochure in Spanish. So it's really nice to be able to have all those things in Spanish as well. Here is the fax cover page for the new business application. Again, just make sure it's all filled out. I just put this in here just so you have an idea of what it looks like, but it's all available in that back office there. Okay, so after the point of sale, they can still do the phone interview. You just need to indicate on the application whether it has been, if it's not been completed, just put no, and then they'll contact them. The reason why I have this after is just to, again, stress the fact that the point of sale phone call is the best way to do it. Honestly, if somebody's not wanting to do it and you're isolating that objection of, why they're not wanting to do it, you may still have some questions unanswered for that client. If they say, well, I got to talk to, my son or daughter or husband or whatever, maybe there's something that you didn't answer, and that's kind of a nice way to, really get that commitment when you're going to go for that phone call. So having that available to you, kind of don't take that, well, I got to talk to my husband, and then just say, okay, and roll with it. Because what if they really do want it, but they still haven't completed this? That's that kind of that back way out of that back door, out of having to get this, getting that plan. If you take your time to explain everything and show them how it benefits them, but they still have that way to get out, most people are, maybe even not intentionally, are going to take that if they're not committed 100% with that phone call. So, of course, again, like I said, it's transmitted back to the home office electronically, so you don't have to do anything there. So some of the medication, the dual-purpose medications, and this is why having that guide with you and asking some questions is definitely good. I myself struggled with asthma all my life, and COPD and asthma are treated almost the same thing. There's 13 medications that are used for the same thing. Seizures, 12 of them. Parkinson's, 7. 122 commonly used medications to treat congestive heart failure, also for hypertension. So, definitely ask those questions, make sure that, those medications are being used for certain things. And then what you do is you note that on the application, and again, during the interview, they're going to ask a clarifying question what it's used for. So making sure that they know how to answer those questions and they're not fumbling around and just taking the first guess on what it's used for, asking your client that and getting them to understand and remember what it's used for is going to help you out. So if a second application is written on the same person within 6 months, to increase the face amount allowable, the medical records will be ordered. So just make sure you have a note of that. You don't want to get yourself in a bind there. And then for Social Security recipients on Wednesdays, if they get them on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday, what draft date do you select? So, for example, if they're getting the third Wednesday of August, you're going to select the date falls on the 14th. So just make sure that you're being cognizant of that as well. That's a positive for them to know that you're thinking about them. So they can modify the system to collect it second, third, or fourth. So that'll help you out. Not a lot of companies will do that at all. It definitely reduces the non-sufficient funds. It is going to reduce your chargebacks. So make sure that you're putting on the specific draft date, indicate draft date of 2W, 3W, 4W. And then, of course, the immediate draft is still available. Now, the family plan is called American Guardian. So we had our American Legacy, and then we have our American Guardian for the family plan. The immediate death benefit, 100% of face amount. Immediately, maximum coverage, $35,000. Return of premium, again, just like the other one. Sorry about that. Let me go back. It's return of premium plus 10% annual interest. If it occurs within the first 3 years, 100% thereafter. Maximum $20,000. And then, of course, 100% if it is a face amount, if it's accidental. So just like the other one. Still some questions. This one, it's a little bit more questions for the first one. Just 6 questions within the past 24 months, 12 months, 5 years. So make sure that you're making sure you're going over that. And again, asking the questions, explaining it. Then we've got 7, 8, and 9. So that's for the return of premium, death benefit, and then that's it. So 1 through 9 are no, then it's immediate death benefit is available. And then again, Connecticut, Delaware, Iowa, Maine, Michigan, all the states here, no return of premium, and then Vermont and Wisconsin available with Occidental Life. Minnesota available with American Amicable. And then unfortunately, Montana, New Hampshire, New York, Washington, and Maine are not available for sale. And then the riders: accidental death benefit rider, children's insurance agreement, spouse term rider, waiver of premium, no cost rider, terminal illness, and the accelerated benefits confined care riders. Just like what we were talking about earlier with the American Guardian. Sales materials, same thing: brochure, application, agent guide, quoting sheets. So of course everything's in there. No medical exams or blood work. Again, application, MIB, script check, telephone interview, age 40 to 49. And then there is a build chart. So same as American Legacy, medication guide, impairment guide, build chart. I'm not going to go over every single thing in here, but they don't accept a third-party payer if they're and the applicant is age 30 or over, so they won't accept them. Defined as a premium payer other than the primary insured, the spouse or business partner. So examples: brothers, sisters, laws, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. Does not apply to the final expense. It does apply to the other life products, and it's for really poor persistency. I mean, to boil those three reasons down, when you have somebody else responsible for someone that barely knows them, perhaps then they're not going to want to. They're just not wanting to take the chance, of course. So, sorry, I went a little bit fast, but again, it is available for you. I didn't want to dwell on each slide too long, but does anybody have any questions? You can feel free to ask your upline. If they have any questions, they can let us know as well. But I appreciate you joining us. Keep an eye out for the email or the recording of this. And for brochures, again, just go into your back office there, and all this information is in there. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to email us or your upline, and we'll get them answered as fast as possible. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great day.